Adorama did something really interesting that I want to highlight in today's video. Today we're talking about the Flashpoint Xplor 600 SE, a special edition light launched as an exclusive by Flashpoint under Adorama. This new SE is actually a combination of all three lights, all three previous 600s from Godox and Flashpoint. To keep this video clear, I'll call the new light, the subject of today's video, the SE, and I'll call the others Original, Pro, and Pro II. The first interesting thing about the 600 SE is that it uses the battery from the original 600, the one that is capable of 500 full power flashes and recycling full power in about 2.5 seconds. Now, of course, there was a Pro battery, which delivered about 400 full power flashes, but recycled in 0.9 seconds. That's the newer battery. Why didn't Adorama go with that for the 600 SE? The reason is because the 600 Pro battery got absolutely dragged online for becoming unresponsive if you left it with a low charge for too long. Now, I never experienced this, despite having 4 of them in my rental studio where people would leave them on a charger for 48 hours or deplete them fully, throw them on a shelf, and they wouldn't get used for over a month. I still never experienced an unresponsive battery. Yet so many other users online have reported that they have had issues. So I think Adorama just decided, you know what, let's go with the one that has 0 issues. No one's ever had problems with the original battery. It may be a little bit slower to recycle, but we get greater capacity and greater stability overall. Next, the body of the SE is practically identical to the newest 600 Pro Mark II. Now, much of the Pro II is the same as the 600 Pro. It's got the same body, reflector, weight, size, bulb, but what did change a lot is the interface. And the 600 SE gets all of these interface upgrades. Things such as the power button being moved from the bottom to the side, full color display, OLED display that is brighter and more readable because the background is black and the text is white. Full color, so all of your groups have an individual color, and there is a colored indicator light on both sides of the light so that from a distance you can identify what light you're looking at. That's the whole purpose of these colored lights. Now, all of these interface upgrades are welcome. I don't know that there's a huge quality of life improvement for the seasoned photographer, because I never look at those lights because I have a system ingrained in my head that when I put this light here, it's A, and when I put this light here, it's B. That just automatically works in my head. But for anybody new to Flash, both the colored groups and the group indicator from the distance are really helpful. It's just going to be an additional layer of understanding how groups of Flash work and therefore make it easier for new photographers. Now, at first when this came out, I was like, what a huge missed opportunity, because you just have to memorize the colored lights. But no, they actually updated the X3 transmitter so that it has colored groups on it. And so these actually coincide, which is really nice because you can look down and see group E is teal, whatever they are. I haven't memorized them yet, but you can see from a distance what light that would associate with. Now, the SE body is different in one critical place, and that is the stand attachment. Stand attachment on the Pro and Pro II is a washer system. The washer just leads to a lot of slippage, right? When you've got large, heavy modifiers on there, or particularly anything with a lot of leverage, like a deep parabolic softbox or something that gets really far away from the light, you just tend to get slippage where your light is going to tilt with that weight over time, especially as you move it. And that was pretty annoying, especially on such a premium light from Godox. The SE decided to scrap that and go back to the original tilting mechanism. Now, it's not the exact same tilting mechanism. It's far quieter than the original AD600. However, it is a notched mechanism. It's plastic, it locks into place. That's it. It's not gonna move. And I think this was a great choice. Now, I do see one small problem with it, and that is that the stand attachment, the plastic molding for it is connected to the main body panels. So if that breaks, well, yeah, you can't just replace it like you would on a 600 Pro II. You've got to treat that area with care to make sure that it stays protected over time. The SE has a 40-watt modeling lamp, same as the Pro, which is good because the original just didn't have a very good modeling lamp. It just wasn't bright enough. It is not bicolor like the Pro II's modeling lamp. From a flash spec standpoint, we basically have the standard mode of the 600 Pro. So the same flash durations as the 600 Pro, but there's no stable color mode like on the 600 Pro, and there's no freeze mode like on the 600 Pro II. All you have is a standard mode, which has a color stability rating of about plus or minus 200 Kelvin across the entire power range. Now, to me, that means it's still fine for pretty much anything involving a retail client, weddings, family portraiture, outdoor portraits of any type, senior portraits. Where the color stability becomes pretty important is when you're using like 3 or 4 different lights, because as you traverse different power settings and your lights are off from one another, that can become problematic in a studio setting and just cause all sorts of post-production issues. But also, if you're doing doing color critical commercial work. You know, anything involving products where the colors that you photograph need to be accurate to what's being shipped. Huge with clothing and all sorts of physical products. If you're a product photographer, you understand this, and probably better to opt for the Pro series of lighting to get that additional color stability. One headline feature missing is TTL. Now, I've expressed in plenty of videos how little I care about TTL. The 3 letters TTL could disappear from every piece of flash equipment that I own, and I would not lose 1 second of sleep, especially for off-camera flashes. But that's just my opinion. Some people like TTL. I understand its appeal to anyone new to flash photography because, hey, if there's one less decision you have to make when you're entering this world of lighting, that feels very helpful. But I promise, if you just stick with manual and try to get used to it, it will be more consistent in the long run and you will be more confident as a flash photographer. At $599, I personally think that this light is a phenomenal value. You get the most modern UI, one that is extremely helpful to anyone newer to flash photography, flash durations of the 600 Pro, which are excellent, and the capacity/stability of the battery from the original 600. As long as you don't need the really fast recycle speed of 0.9 seconds like you would find on the 600 Pro and Pro II, and you don't need the color stable mode, I think this is an excellent choice because it comes in so much cheaper than the others. It's just a great mashup that really listened to a lot of the feedback that users had and tried to bring everything together in like a most stable and problem-free package. And in my head, after this release, there's absolutely no reason to buy new the original 600 or the 600 Pro. The 600 Pro II has great interface upgrades over the original 600 that make it a clear buy for the price difference, and this special edition just has a ton of advantages over the original AD600. I'm curious if you guys agree with my sentiment, especially if you've used every iteration of the light like I have. Let me know down below, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.